Today's episode is brought to you by Modern Grower. Modern Grower is the go-to source for 100% organic, GMO-free microgreen seeds. Trusted by hundreds of growers for high quality and low prices. If you're growing microgreens, start saving at shop.moderngrower.co. How do you approach new opportunity? It's just, we'll try it if we think it pans out. Because I think some people are hesitant to pull the trigger and do stuff.
A lot of the time it's asking a shop, hey, what do you want to use that you don't currently use?
Yeah, we've tried flowers multiple times, failed multiple times. And it's just another thing that we want to get going eventually. So we keep on trying.
Yeah, and I guess you figure out a way and you've built up this huge customer base, which enables you to now float ideas across, and it gives you some buffer. Like those new changes, new products are less scary because you have actual customer market research to say, hey, do you want this stuff?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Like adding a single product could end up making us a lot of money. If we were to do 2 varieties of flowers and we were able to grow enough for all of our restaurants, 80 to 90% of them would at least order one type of those flowers weekly. So it's just like you just gained a substantial amount of money weekly because of growing flowers on top of the mushrooms and the microgreens.
Yeah. With no sales.
Yeah. There's no pitches, nothing. Just asking if they use this. You're not having to go out and do anything else other than drive to your normal delivery days, your normal route.
How many restaurants are you in now?
We got 32 right now. There's one of our competitors in northern San Diego, I think just shut down or something happened to them. So we've been really going after those northern San Diego restaurants. And we know they use local microgreens. We know they're up for using somebody that's not a big company, like not using specialty produce. Yeah. So we are hitting those hard because we know that they are available and willing to work with a local farm.
How do you approach growth? This is more of a business philosophy question. San Diego's huge. You can go from 32 restaurants and try and sell to 300 and stick with the products you have. And we add maybe flowers to it. That's tangential to where you're at. The other thing is you stick with, you try and grow that maybe to 50, but you add on more products. So you grow wider product wise. I don't know how many things are as easy of a fit as like mushrooms and edible flowers might be to microgreens. There's other things I'm sure you could branch out to where you offer more to existing customers versus just let's do what we do well. Let's go get more customers. Which way do you lean?
I feel like,
yeah, with the approaching new customers that's like the actual effort that we put forth for growth, and then the growing wider, getting more varieties, that's more natural. That's something that we're not doing on our own. It's something that chefs are usually asking us for.
I feel like we enjoy that part of it too.
Yeah, it is fun.
Most of the time it is chefs doing it, but like if we see something on Instagram or somebody's growing something, we'll be like, oh, look at this. And then we'll be like, all right, let's grab a pound. We'll see how it goes. But that's just like the fun part of the growing aspect of it. Like, that was a big reason why we wanted to do mushrooms. We're like, it's something new. It's something to break up all of this microgreen work. And it's just something else to look forward to.
Yeah.
Definitely like the excitement and the personal interest plays a big part in it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then right now we can only grow certain flowers because they have to be in pots. They can't run rampant. They can't grow in like mint. You said mint. Mint turns out to be a huge plant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a chef wanted mint, and then it's just, I'm not sure if we have the space available to grow a gigantic plant. So we're dealing with growing the smaller things with the space that we have that can like fit under a racking system. But in the long term, we do want to grow all of that other big bushy stuff. Like it's lavender bushy.
Yeah, lavender's a big.
Yeah. And I think pea shoots, they grow flowers, but peas are also just so big and bushy that we can't house that anywhere.
Right. Yeah. I interviewed somebody who did edible flowers that'll be on the podcast or maybe came out before this. And they had, it's pretty interesting, like their cycle. They planted once every maybe 2 or 3 times a year. They had them in 5-gallon pots and would just harvest them weekly to pinch off the buds. And there was decent money in them, pretty high profitability. They weren't selling massive amounts. That was the other part of it. They were limited, but it was an interesting crop that I think you're starting to see more and more microgreen growers also get into. When you think of where you're at in the business, how do you think about growth? Where do you look at, I'm comfortable where we're at and I like the lifestyle, I like the workload versus pedal to the metal?
We're pedal to the metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our idea was from the beginning was having multiple farms in multiple cities. So eventually I feel like it's only just begun, because when we were stuck in the garage at the old house, we were growing, but we were growing at such a small, slow rate that we had to be extremely careful of what restaurants we were going to and like what they used because of the space that we were given. Whereas now we can run free and we shouldn't run out of space for at least a year. We can really fill this place up. So the growth aspect of it has only just begun. Like we were stuck between 20 to 25 restaurants for 2 years, just with COVID kind of closing people down and then just not really being able to fit more people into our spot. Whereas now we're at, I think, 32. So we've already jumped up 7 restaurants in the small time that we've been here. We have a lot more on the fence. So it's just now the growth aspect of it is really happening.
And in the long term, the idea is to look at cities that have a big restaurant culture and put a farm in each of those.
Yeah, like the up and coming cities. Like I think we were talking about Austin, Texas. That was a great one. There's hundreds of restaurants there. It's a big, young, foodie town.
Yeah.
So that was it's a lot cheaper for living. So the only difference you'd have is we'd probably be selling things for a couple dollars cheaper just because of the financial living situation there.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't matter because the financial living situation there is cheaper. So like the water, the electricity bill, the rent, everything is cheaper there. So it wouldn't be that big of a problem.
Yeah. And you have a pretty nice nugget in Southern California outside of that New Jersey, New York, Connecticut region between San Diego, Orange County, LA, right? There's a massive population, health conscious, a lot of money, a lot of restaurants, food culture. So a lot of room for expansion there. Is it still just you two guys?
Pretty much. Yeah. His dad helps us out sometimes and that's it. Some days we'll have family days if there's a lot of cleaning to do, but it's just us two for right now.
Yeah. And we're lucky that both of our families want to help out.
Yeah. They're super interested in it and they love like what we're doing and coming and staying the farm.
Farm Small, Farm Smart Daily is part of the Modern Grower Podcast Network. Check out some of our other shows like Carrot Cash Flow, the Growing Microgreens Podcast, and Farm Small, Farm Smart. Learn more about the shows using the link below.